In this video, we are going to discuss about association and union expression, which will be followed by watching the demo videos and doing the exercises. CDS views associations define relationship between different CDS entities. They are easy models for consumption by other applications. So we can have smaller reusable view units, and they're much lighter than the heavy joints. Associations can be considered as join on demand. Basically, for certain type of associations, the join is triggered when it's actually demanded or triggered from the application consuming the views with joins. While defining associations, we can have multiple cardinalities. Cardinalities define the type of relationship, like it can be 1 to 1, 0 to infinity, like that. By default, if we don't specify any cardinality, it's considered as 0 to 1. CDS associations can have different types or models. First is the exposed association, the ad hoc association, and filtered association. In the exposed association, we don't specify the individual fields, we just specify the alias or the table alias, which is mentioned in the association definition. In the ad hoc association, we specify the individual fields, which will be included in the CDS view from the associated table or view. And in filtered association, we specify a filter in the association. We'll see some examples of association. First, we'll see the base view, which will be used in the association. Here's the CDS view. For the example, ZCDS association underscore base, and it's a view created on as custom, and we have the ID, name, cust type, and postcode fields as part of the view. Next, we'll see an example of an ad hoc association. We'll use the base view that we just saw in the earlier part of the video. ZCDS association underscore base will be associated with S-book table. Cardinality is 1, and the fields ID and postcode from the association base is selected here. These kind of associations are called ad hoc associations. And if we see the result, the screenshot shows the result, which says ID and the postcode. Now we'll see an example of an exposed association. Here's the example CDS view of exposed association. We select data from S-book and is associated to the base view that we saw earlier, ZCDS underscore association underscore base, and the exposure is done just by mentioning the alias SC as one of the fields of the view, and the output does not really show any of the columns from the associated view. That doesn't mean the fields are not associated. This join will be delayed or will be triggered when it's triggered from an application or from the data preview. If you do a right click and then navigate to the association, we'll see the associated columns. Here we'll see some examples of how to use the exposed association using simple part expressions in OpenSQL. The example CDS with association, exposed association here, and here's the above code. If you notice, the way the select statement is written, it's the same way we select the fields. However, to access the fields from the view which is associated and exposed in the CDS view is by following the path expression backslash the alias name dash the field name. The syntax for the path expression highlighted here. Now we'll see some example of filtered association. Here's the example. If you see, it's like the exposed CDS, except that we specify a filter condition along with the exposed view or the table. In this case, SB cust type equals B. So basically, we have filtered the data from SBook with those entries having cust type equals B only. And another thing to notice here is that we need to specify an alias, in this case business customer, whenever we define a filtered association. CDS views union expression. Union expression creates union of rows in the result sets of two or more select statements of a CDS view. It adds the rows from the multiple select statements. The prerequisite is that the structures of the result sets are compatible. The result sets must have the same number of elements and the pair of elements should have the same data type. There are two types of union models. One, the union all, and which considers duplicate entries also, meaning if you use union all with two select statements, all the duplicate entries will be retained. The other one is just union, and in the case of union, the duplicate entries are removed from the result set. Here's an example of union expression. Here's a CDS view which has two select statements from SBook, one for business customer and one for private customers. Depending on the cust type, there are the two select statements filter data based on the customer type, and we have a union using union all, and the output would look like what we're seeing on the screen on the right side. Next section, watch the demo videos and work on exercises.